Hey, this is Art and Such with part 2 of my Rainbow Loom tutorial for Beverly Crusher from Star Trek Next Generation. In part 1 we made our shirt and pants, our outfit for the body. And you've decided at this point whether you want the larger chest on the front or if you want it to be just a little bit wider and thicker but have this for your back. And hopefully you have your black piece up on the right side. I think I might turn this around just for the sake of where my loose bands are at. Okay, we can start with some hair chains and then we'll get our head together on the loom. I've made 3 and I would recommend 4, but you can decide how many you want. To do a hair chain at the length of 4, which is what I did, I'm going to wrap a single band of pale orange once or twice onto my hook, pull it onto another single, and pull it onto 3 more singles. As I said, you can have 2 of these, you can have 4 of these, they can be really long or a little bit shorter, it's up to you. We can start on our loom with 2 orange bands from our top peg on the center to our top peg on the side. And we'll go down with 2 sets of double orange on one side, and then we're going to repeat this coming back the other way. So 2 from the top to the top, and then 2 down, and then another 2 bands coming down. And before we go on, I will suggest that you do an extension at the top of the head for a little added thickness, and that is what I did on mine and what I'll show you here. We take a single, wrap it twice, and we're going to pull this onto 2 more singles. Then we grab this end onto our hook again, and we're going to take these cap bands at the bottom and put them on the top peg on the side, and then we'll take the bands, the loops that are on our hook, and put those onto the top center. And we'll do the exact same extension for the other side just to make it even. So a single wrapped twice, and we're putting this onto 2 orange bands. This goes back onto the hook. Turn our loom around and we'll place those caps onto top peg on the side, and the rest go onto that top center. Just lost one here. I want to make sure everything's back on in the right order. There we go. We're going to do the center of the face with 3 sets of double skin tone bands. I am using a kind of a darker tan color here, but I like the pale one I used on my first. I just want to keep this matching the hands, so I will continue with this. We go twice 2 bands from the side third to the center fourth. You can start from either direction, and we'll repeat this. And a skin tone single band capped the triangle formation, going from your 3rd peg from the top to your 3rd peg from the top, meeting up in the middle. For the eyes, I've already threaded 2 beads onto an elastic, onto a band, and I did this with dental floss by pulling it through the beads and then through the band and back through the beads. You can thread on large pony beads in white and draw on the pupils later. You can use bands. It's really entirely up to you. This is coming from your 2nd peg on the side to your 2nd peg on the side, and we stretch it in the middle so that one of the pieces comes back on top of the 2nd middle peg. We won't put our chains on just yet, but we are ready for our body. And I'm having a really hard time deciding which piece I want to be the front. Okay, I'll do it, so I'll keep to what we had planned. Piece with the black higher up, so this will be the bustier side. We're putting this on our 4th peg down. I'm just going to stretch the rest of the body out of the way. And we're going to loop up these bands, and then we can add our chains. This keeps us from having to pull everything through the skin tone bands after. We're grabbing each set of top skin tone bands from under the black neck piece, and we're returning it to where it came from. So it should be side and then up. Now we add our chains. Just pull it off the hook, press it down a little bit, 2 on either side on your third peg down. If you want the hair to be really, really thick, you can always, as I said, have extra extensions on the side or make extra chains and hook them onto these bands or these bands here. But I experimented a little bit. This is what I feel works best here. We're going to loop up the center, grab your skin tone bands, your next 2, but push back that cap band from the eyes. And when we come to the sides, we're reaching under all the bands and only grabbing the bottom 2 orange. You can pull it out with your hand if it makes it easier. Sometimes just changing the perspective helps. As I said, you can turn it sideways or look at it in different lights, whatever works for you. We're grabbing the next 2 bottom bands. On the last 2 bottom bands, which will meet in the center, push it down a little because it's going to be a bit thick here once we add our last one. We're going to come up the other side, very same thing. Push back your cap bands, only grab your bottom 2 bands. Take 1 or 2 orange bands for your hair, and we're going to bring it through all of the bands on your top peg. So turn your hook so that it's facing away from you, put your end on, pull it through. We bring one end over the other so that we have a slip knot and only 1 band here to contend with. We can remove this from the loom. Okay. So first thing to do is tuck away this securing hairband. You might need 2 C-clips for this, just to keep things a little bit cleaner, but you can put everything onto 1 if you prefer. Now I tried the mouth on this particular skin tone and with the longer black neck. I didn't really like the way it looked, but I will show you how to do it if you choose to have a mouth. You're going to bring your hook through the back of the face, and you'll see there are 4 bands in the middle here. You probably want your mouth to come around those. So let me get this together and then I'll show you what it looks like. You're just grabbing it from the front and pulling it back. And you can create a slip knot in the back or put it through another band. This can be stretched out or opened, can be moved down a little bit. You'll have to play around with it a little. It looked really nice on this. I had it a little bit tighter, so a smaller mouth is kind of nice. But you can choose whether to have or keep the mouth or not. For our little comm badge, we're going to find a spot just under the black, and keeping a little tension, we're going to use a gold or a yellow band and pull it through to the back. And then we come down just a little lower. This might take a couple of tries. I'm going to keep some tension on the band, and I'm going to pull it back through to where it came from. I'll put one side over the other here. And then I return my hook through that first spot. Try and get to that very same spot. It's a little tricky. This takes a little bit of practice and maybe a couple of tries, but it should work out. And we put this on our hook, keep a little tension, pull it through. And then we're going to move inwards a little more to the center, but we want it about the same, about as long as the other piece. So here it's coming back through, and we put our gold back on and bring it back to the back. You can put this on a C-clip, or we can, it's a little looser than I'd like, a little tighter than I'd like, there we go. Or we can just run another band through it This keeps it from getting too tight. And we can weave this band up to our C-clip or a different C-clip. So what I mean is, we can come under another band, pull this through, and keep doing it, not too tight, but keep going under bands until we're near to our C-clip, and then we can secure it there. Sometimes it's easier by hook and sometimes by hand. Alright, the last thing for us to do, you want to straighten out your eyes, your hair, any loose bands. If you want your hair to kind of sit behind, what we do is we grab the ends of our chains, or an end of each chain. Doesn't matter so much which band you grab, as long as it's towards the end. And we take an orange, pull it through all of those. And this can be a different color, it's not going to show up because it's at the back. Create a slip knot. And this can be stuck on with a C-clip as well. I'm just going to hook it under one of these bands for now. Throw it on another C-clip. So turn out your foot. If you have any loose bands, you can tuck those in. And I think we're just about done. If your arm is curved the wrong way, you can try and find a loose band or two and stick it underneath around here. There should be an extra band. That will make it a little bit straighter for you. I think I picked eyes of the wrong size here. Okay, at any rate, there is your Beverly Crusher. And I thank you for watching.